Hello, and welcome to reCapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at reCapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. Hello, Ashley.
Hello, darling.
We are continuing our Women's History Month with a new recap. It is written by women, produced by women, starring a woman. I am talking about the new Prime Video movie, Picture This. It is an hour and 39-minute movie rated PG-16+. It is a British rom-com released March 6th of this year. Here's a summary. Struggling photographer Pia is told she'll find true love and career success within the next 5 dates she goes on. With her sister's wedding looming and her family playing matchmaker, her ex soon reappears, throwing her life into chaos. Here's the cast. We have Simone Ashley as Pia, Anushka Chattal as Sonal, Hero Phineas Teffin as Charlie, Luke Featherston as Jay. Jay is the MVP for me in this movie, by the way.
1,000%.
Sindhu V as Lakshmi, Phil Dunster as Milo Dunner or Boner, Nikesh Patel as Nakshay. Rotten Tomatoes gave this film 48% by the critics, 69% from the audience, and Google users gave this movie 66%. Ashley, what is your grade for Picture This?
Man, this is hard for me because I really wanted to love this movie. I always enjoy a good rom-com. I really love Simone Ashley. I think she's lovely. But if I am 1,000% honest, I was underwhelmed by this effort. I really expected more.
Yes.
And found this to be not only a bit forgettable, but also mirrored another film that I think has done this concept better, called Five Blind Dates. That was also a Prime.
It's based off of it.
Film.
Yeah. I think it's at the credits. It's like inspired by Five Blind Dates.
Thank you, because I literally was like down to the gay best friend and the 5 dates and the EpiPen moment, and I was like, I feel like this has been done with an Asian family already. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. I give this a C. I love you, Simone. I want to see more. That's what I'm
right there with you, Ashley. This didn't blow me away or anything, but it was fun. It was light. It was what I needed at the time. You know what I mean?
Well, I also really like Hero. He was in the After film series. And that first movie I've watched repeatedly. I've read the books as well.
Is this the step siblings?
No, not at all. They meet
that's
in college.
My fault. Sorry, another movie.
No, ma'am. They met in college. He's a bad boy. I stopped reading the books because it got pretty toxic in the books, and the movies did not get better. But that first movie, great. I'm gonna have to watch it. Yeah, great effort on the first film.
I'm right there with you, Ashley. I did give it a B-, but we're in the same zone. I thought, like I said, it was funny at times. I did enjoy the humor. I don't know why I called it a romance, though, because at the end of the day, I feel like romance was a bit of a vehicle to talk more about her familial and self-development within her career, because at the end of the day, I don't know if they had a lot of chemistry. Like,
They
say it out
didn't.
loud. Say it out loud,
Sorry, I was
Ashley.
because I didn't want to interrupt you. They didn't. This is again why I struggle
Yes,
with this. I was
yeah.
like I fell asleep, Delora, and I was like, wait a minute. I really enjoy both of these actors. What's going on? It's because too they've had such great chemistry with other
Well,
people.
yes, yes,
Like
yes,
Bridgerton,
yes.
fire.
Fire.
After fire. Like
Yes.
I
So
when he was saying her name in the movie, I was envisioning him with the actress from After.
really. And
Yes.
so, I mean, and let's keep it a buck. The reason why I also wanted to watch this movie and talk about it is because of her work on freaking Bridgerton. It is done so well, and I was excited to see her in a new film, a more modern film, because I'm rooting for her. She's gorgeous. She's
Yes.
talented. I'm rooting for her.
I
She has
want to
another
see
movie
more
coming out.
brown leads.
Yes, yes, Ashley, exactly. So, you know, we got on this ride. We have our thoughts, and we're going to talk about it. So here's a spoiler alert. So the general premise of this film, as mentioned in the summary, Pia is a struggling photographer, and her sister wedding is upon her. With that comes a lot of activities before the wedding. And this is an Indian wedding or a South Asian wedding. So the wedding happens in multiple parts in general. But one
Can't
of the
wait till someone invites me to an Indian wedding. I'm
let's
waiting.
pray we go together, Ashley, because I
Yeah.
want to go. I
I
actually have a
can't
friend
wait.
that I knew from church, just attended an Indian wedding, and she was having a time. A
I
time was
cannot
had.
wait.
Okay.
Cannot wait.
Courtesy of the matchmaking show on Netflix, I realized and I learned that astrology is a big deal. Like,
Absolutely.
finding your match is paramount down to the stars, or I should say, up to the stars. I think it's interesting that the spiritual guru informed her that she will find true love within her next 5 dates. Ashley, Pia is, as I mentioned, a struggling photographer. So she's the quote unquote artsy archetype when it comes to these rom coms.
Down
But
to
when
that
I
shitty
tell you,
wardrobe.
this is what I am trying to say, Ashley, Simone is gorgeous, obviously. But I find it very hard to see her as a flighty, manic pixie girl.
And that shitty wardrobe. Okay?
Her showing up with one shoe, I just cannot see it. I can't see it.
If you about to go run, why would you put on flip-flops? Why would you wear flip-flops with some
Very
basketball
dangerous.
shorts, colorful patterned windbreaker? Throughout this film, I struggled. I was like, to put this beautiful, fashionable woman in this shitty wardrobe was a struggle. Had to be.
Struggle. A
Had to
struggle.
be.
And don't get me wrong, this has nothing to do with her acting ability, but I just, again, it's just, no, no, no.
It's also because of the introduction. She was introduced as Kate Sharma.
Yes,
That's still who she is right now, public
true,
perception wise.
true.
She needs some time and distance from that character, which she does not have yet. And that character wears gowns. That character is
Yes,
polished. That
yes, she's
character
a
has her shit
freaking
together.
viscountess. Are you kidding
Exactly.
me?
She was the caretaker of her family, so she was the responsible one. So
Yep.
yes, this is a difficult transition to believe. And also, one more time, this shitty wardrobe.
But with the rom com is either or, right? You either have the immaculate wardrobe on a baker's salary,
You go ahead and be
or
immaculate. You go ahead and be immaculate. Because I don't know what this was. Even when they went out on the town, I'm like, what are
yes.
you wearing? There's a difference between being broke and having no fashion sense. You can be broke and look good.
That's true because you can go to those vintage stores. You're resourceful. You're resourceful because
Goodwill,
yes,
depending on where you go.
yep.
Anyway, I'm gonna let it go. That shitty wardrobe. I'm gonna let it go. I'm so upset.
And things get even more complicated because her ex is in town. He is the best man. And she tells her friend Jay that that was her last great love. I was like, okay, come through, second chance romance.
One could say, as young as she was, probably her only great love. Like,
Right.
are we counting as
Right.
some elementary school crush or something back in the day? Who else?
Right. When did you have the time? Right.
Yeah. One thing that took me back to with Hero's introduction into the celebrations was he's such a grown man now. If anyone has seen him back and even like after and stuff, he still has such a baby face. So seeing him in this
Oh.
movie, I'm like, you're grown now. This is
Oh.
weird. Like you're a man now. Okay. He's
Yes.
also a model, so like he's still
Yeah.
gorgeous, but
Obviously. But yeah, she's chronically single, and her main focus is her photography shop, the Ninth Mandela. She's inspired by her grandmother, who had the dream of being a photographer. But as we all know, society at the time didn't appreciate the quote, independent, ambitious free thinker that Pia is today. What do you think about that dynamic when it comes to women in media or even in your personal life, society, what have you, that it's like we raise our daughters to be independent, but as soon as they get to a certain age, it's like, when you getting married, when you having babies, and it's like, I just got a master's, what are you talking about?
yeah. I mean, I think she feels that, right? She's like she's also in that age range for the movie's sake where you are seeking that independence. You're really trying to figure out who you are, what you want. And you're like, the last thing I have on
Independently,
my mind right
yes.
now is like, now that I've gotten out of your house and I'm trying to establish myself, all right, let me find a husband. Let me start popping out some babies. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think for her, to your point, she's on this trajectory of like, I'm really trying to figure my stuff out. I'm really now if she'll go the path how she was describing of never getting married and all this. She's very young. She'll figure all that stuff out. But for sure,
Yeah.
right now it's like, can I let me live?
Yeah.
Can I live?
And I think there's some tension too because she's the oldest and her younger sister is getting married, right?
Yep.
But shout out to that jewelry in the safe deposit box. I'm like, love that.
Mama said, I got y'all dowries right here.
Exactly. She has to go on 5 dates before the wedding. I'm like, okay, obligatory timeline, right? And her family chooses. I think this part of the movie was kind of fun because,
Especially that first date.
and that's where we're headed. I would love to get your thoughts on her father's choice, Sid. He is, quote, an obnoxious brat, son of a wealthy man. He was funny though, because he was like, oh, he's family. He's family. Don't touch him. Don't touch him. And then it's like, watch the classics, Speed and Speed 2.
Yo, he pissed me off with Speed too. Pissed me right on off.
Right. Because if anything, if we had to call something a classic, it would be the first and not the second.
Yeah,
A
you go
cruise
ahead
ship?
and throw that
Really?
second one away. Keanu Reeves said, not me. Keanu about to have me in this trash.
And then when he said, I will stab a baby in the throat for your bone structure, that was ridiculous and quite funny to me.
And also
But
that he clearly calls his mom a bitch. Like, clearly. He was the one not
clearly
joking.
to her face.
Crazy.
But the kicker was number one rule of the house, no pooping.
That was a beautiful
And
toilet.
it was a beautiful house. The whole setup, I was here for it. I put in my notes, I'm like, who puts that much toilet tissue in the toilet? Nobody who pays bills.
I
Like,
don't know what she was thinking.
I'm
Like,
like,
you
you
thought the
would have
toilet
been
paper was the mess?
right.
Let it be.
I would have easily rolled that up and put it off to the side and said, your little thing broke. Okay,
Or
argues.
I didn't know what I was doing. So here you go.
And at the end of the day, he just wanted a marriage of convenience. Go to 3 events in 6 months. Would you take the deal, Ashley?
No. And I've never heard of somebody saying that they don't like human touch and affection. I was like, is that a new like tier to, the like sexual spectrum? Like, is that considered asexual or is that like something
Is
else?
knocking on that door for sure.
Because there's no, I mean, granted, you would have the perks of life and then be able to have your booze over to the side, sure. But I've never wanted to be somebody's quote unquote beard or anything else where I'm not
Right.
actually with the person that I'm with. What's the fun of that, you know?
What is the
So,
fun?
no. And also, his personality was trash. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not trying to live around that. He was like,
Trash.
oh, it's such a pleasure to meet me. Like, no, I don't want to do this every day.
The second date was with her mom's coworker. She gave this man a brownie and had an entire peanut allergy. I was like, okay, Hitch. Uh,
Okay, Hitch. Okay, five blind dates. Um, what what's the show that we recapped that he was in? Starstruck.
Starstruck. I have it here.
Yeah,
Yes. He
throwback,
plays the
throwback.
star. It's a good one. He clearly had a crush on her mom.
That was
Clearly.
the most disturbing date for sure. Like
Out of
they
all of them.
kissed and he called out her mama's name.
Woo!
That
Talk about our
would,
book club is 101.
if she wasn't in therapy, that would have put me in therapy.
That is triggering for sure.
It's more than triggering. I'd be like, so what's really good? Did you set me up with your boyfriend or like what was the plan here?
What was the point? Because you obviously felt some kind of way about him too.
Like no shade, like mom, get your swerve on, do what moves you. You and
It could
dad
have
ain't
been
been
one of
together
those
for a minute.
things that she probably didn't know how he felt. And sometimes when you find out somebody has a crush on you, you might look at them differently. So maybe that was one of those situations. I don't know.
I
I
don't want to
don't
be
know.
set up on a date with somebody who has that close of a relationship with my mother to start with, though.
You ain't never lied. In between her second and third date, Charlie stops by the shop. He tells her he's still thinking about her. Again, she gets very prideful when it comes to these party favors. I'm like, has she not learned that pride comes before the fall? It was irritating, her pride throughout this movie. I'm like, girl, take the freaking passport photos.
She was sticking by her integrity that this is a portraiture studio. We do not do that over here. Y'all go take that to Walgreens or whatever the equivalent is in the UK because we not doing that over here. And like I get that. Like I get the idea of like standing by your
Mhm.
brand because I mean that is a part of like branding too, right? It's like
True.
this is a higher
Accessibility.
caliber
Yep.
of photography than what you can get just getting passport photos. But to Jay's point, girl, we gotta make some money. We're about to lose the shop if we don't get this figured out. So at that point, it's not just pride, it's silliness because you
Yep.
obviously just don't want to survive.
What they say, chewing off your nose to spite your face. Is
Yeah.
that
I mean that like it's not like they're asking you to do something that's completely out of the
correct?
wheelhouse of what you could possibly do.
Exactly. Her third date was with Milo Boner or Bonner. Again, it was funny. They were like, isn't he an actor? Wasn't he in an all white adaptation of Hamilton? This one was promising, Ashley. He got her walking on the coals, calling her sunbeam, gave her a kiss. And we find out that he is a simple minded buffoon because he believes the earth is flat.
Shout out to that actor. He is a prominent character in Ted Lasso, and I
Is
could not
he?
see him as anything but Jamie. Like it was hard. I was like, Jamie, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Let's talk about the motivations. Okay. What was her dad's motivation, her mom's motivations, and her sister's with these 3 dates?
Well, I think they all had the same goal. It's just funny how the different sources from which whence they came, right? Where the dad,
Yes.
he didn't even notice, man. He got him off of whatever website, app, whatever, and just like didn't even vet him. He just saw money, right? So the dad's clearly,
Security,
was like, I
money.
need you to be with somebody who can take care of you. Mom, I don't know what mom was doing. Like again, emotional. You're already emotionally invested in this man. So did you just thought, oh, he's a great guy. Emotionally, he's right for you. I don't know. And she knew him before. Like this wasn't a
Yes.
new person. This was somebody she already
Correct.
knew as well.
Yes.
So he wasn't a stranger. But it'd be like, somebody you went to school with, and then you see years later and you realize they BFS with one of your parents.
Yeah. I think her mom's motivation was someone who was emotionally available, right? Like he showed kindness and patience with his interactions with her.
Yeah, because he
I
was in love
mean,
with her.
correct. I was going to say, unbeknownst to her and even him, this is all done out of love.
It's disgusting. And then her sister, I mean, we have the yogi trope, right? Like
Yes.
he is the quintessential um, you know, smooth and yet a little aloof and yet seemingly cares about the world and all these things because
Yeah.
he's attuned to all of that. So I don't know, maybe some level of like connection because they're both like, she's an artist, he's into yoga and all this stuff, so
Yeah.
maybe a
Yeah. That
connection
free
on that.
spirited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I can see that.
personality thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a great call out.
And I also just think she being her sister and her best friend may know her the best personality wise in terms of who
Mm-hmm.
she would mesh with in that way.
Right.
But unfortunately, he's a flat earther.
Girl.
Dead, dead,
Girl.
dead. I remember this video on Instagram, Delora, of a husband tricking his wife into thinking he was a flat earther. Like they had been married for however long and they're like on vacation. And he just no, I think it's the opposite actually. I think the wife was tricking him. And they were talking and asking questions and stuff. He was like, babe, you're not for real. Like, this is a joke, right? Like you're not serious. You could tell he was so concerned. Like, am I gonna have to divorce her? Like, did she trick me into this
This was
marriage?
not on my bingo card of life,
Yes,
okay?
that's real.
So true. So true. Well, leaving the yogi retreat or event for the wedding, Pia has a heart to heart with Charlie and they finally talk. It's the conversation of, college versus family business. Pia said that Charlie never called. Charlie said you never came back home. Was this a case of miscommunication or just wrong timing?
Both. I think it's hard when you are in those transitional development years to hold
Yes.
on to a relationship that's meant to be
Yep.
forever because life is going to pull you apart just
Yep.
based on circumstances, ambitions, what have you. And he had a hard, I can't go anywhere
Right. Exactly.
situation. And she wanted to fly. I have to go to school. I have to go see what's out here in the world.
Yes.
And then the miscommunication because I'm sure they were both young, they were both hurt.
Yep.
They're both like, and the circumstances were not going to change. So if anything, what would have been the point?
Would you have showed up to the meeting place after all that time with low communication?
If I really loved them, yeah, for sure.
I would have showed up too. The fact that she didn't, I thought that was an interesting choice, right? Like he was like, I still showed up.
For her, it may have been, listen, I've moved on. Clearly, you did too with redheaded Lucy. So God bless.
Well, Pia's family calls her out and says that she is too picky. I'm not going to lie. I did feel some relief when she told them about themselves, though, too, because she was like, these dates are nonsense. And I put in my notes, WTF family, like, how dare they tell her that she's too picky when these guys are clearly not for her?
Right.
With this made up timeline, too, like, there's more important things.
Well, I think this is also cultural, right? Because we talk about the Indian matchmaking
Yes.
show, and if
Yes.
you're marrying as a love match or as a, we're setting you up based on some commonalities or what have you,
Right.
um, as an arranged marriage. So in the arranged marriage situation, sure, then maybe you are being picky in the sense of you could figure it out and make it work. The first guy, though, is the hardest no for me. The second guy,
Absolutely.
I'm sure he could have fallen out of love with your mother and fallen in love with you. And flat earther, he's
Ah,
not of the Indian persuasion, so I don't think that they would have been a arranged marriage. But you know, she wanted a love match. That's what her sister's getting. So why would
yeah,
y'all want her to settle for not that?
exactly. Exactly. But she kind of went too far, Ashley, going as far as calling her sister out for being a brown woman's Instagram inspo, and the mom for lying about her divorce. And she slipped by telling them about her store going into bankruptcy. Were you surprised that she didn't tell her family about the state of her business?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. Especially if there are things that she feels like they are not being honest about themselves. And we already
Mm,
talked about her pride. I think, she didn't want anyone's opinion about anything. She wanted to do this and figure it out on her own.
that's true. But like I said, she took it a step too far, and they told her that she was self involved, selfish, and disinvited to the wedding. You know, there are consequences and repercussions to everything. So she's sulking in her shop one day, and yet another person comes in asking for a passport photo, and we get the portrait speech. I'm still under the impression that she needs to take those freaking pictures. Uh, is photography a relationship?
I can see that. I think that makes a
Mhm.
lot of sense, especially when you're trying to capture good photography. And
Yeah.
like, I have never gone and gotten a full, robust photo shoot type environment just for me personally without any other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think photographers, they need to lock in. They need to try to pull the best out of you in order to get some great, great shots of you. So I can definitely see it. Did I enjoy this speech though? I did not. It felt very inauthentic to me. The moment felt very inauthentic to me. And I was like, why are we forcing this?
Ashley, I have seen better speeches for sure. Like I wouldn't say it was inauthentic, but it wasn't moving. I did not feel moved by it. Why was it viral? I
The
mean,
moment was inauthentic, and you just have the next person who came in talking about they want a freaking picture for their passport, and you sit them down, come and have a full breakdown. Who asked for this? I don't have
who has
time for
time for
this.
it?
You think I'm about to
Exactly.
sit up in a studio that I'm
Exactly.
passing by and listen to somebody ramble on? Be like, okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Could it be considered an ego trip?
One could say, but clearly it moved them in the film. That is the that is the point.
That's kind of how I felt about the Barbie speech. Because at one point I felt like, yeah, we're getting there. And then I was like, this is long. And we keep repeating it. And it's preaching to the choir, like we said in that recap.
Yes. Yes.
Well, she has her fourth date, Ashley, with Jay, which is her best date ever. I thought this was so sweet. We finally got a chance to learn more about his character. And because he's the gay BFF trope, we got a chance to learn about his coming out. Were there any takeaways from this fourth date?
She had better chemistry with Jay than Charlie, that's for sure.
Didn't she? Didn't she? I am telling you, okay. Like, I was like, this ain't a romance.
Yeah, even just the
What is
intimacy of it, the
this?
hugs felt
Yes.
more more real to me.
Agreed. The movie closed out with the viral sensation. And yes, the ninth Mandela is saved, Ashley. Do you see?
Hooray!
And she's even doing photography classes. I'm like, you better say yes. What do you mean?
And she finally had a sign on the wall that said passport photos here.
Finally, finally. So her career is secured. Check. She runs to the wedding and she's not too late. She has a heart to heart with her mom. Her mom said that she could sell her jewelry to invest in the shop. I was like, okay, mom.
Thank you for letting me do with my inheritance what I will, because that's what it is at the end of the day.
Oh, it's kind of like giving somebody a gift card, right? It's like, I feel like you're telling me what to do with my money.
Is that how you feel? If
You
somebody
know,
gives you a card to a
someone say
specific place?
that.
Got
I
you.
heard someone say that and it tickled me. Let me tell you.
Like, go ahead. If it's not Visa, I don't want it. If it's not MasterCard, keep that. If it give me cash, even.
Ah, she makes it to her sister's wedding. Everything is made better. She's booked. And as I mentioned before, this movie is mainly about familial relationships and personal development with a sprinkle of romance because we are left with the potential of Charlie and Pia. This movie takes place in London. Did you feel like it gave it character? And how does it differ from all the popular rom-com cities like LA and New York? And do you have a favorite?
How do I feel like it compares to other rom-com cities? I mean, I obviously have a bias towards the US because that's where I am and where I'm from. I didn't feel like we necessarily got the character the way we would in like a Notting Hill, right? It didn't add or lend to the landscape and the
Yes.
story in that way that I felt like Notting Hill did, and almost becoming a character in and of itself. But I felt some of the cultural differences just in some of the like language that was spoken, and in the
Yeah.
fact that their accents and all of that is of that area. So
Yeah.
that was the main differences for me in terms of what it brought to the
And I'm
table.
reminded of the recap we did a couple of years ago, Rye Lane with
Yep.
the Black British folks.
Yep.
The city definitely, London played a major role in that
Yeah, because we were moving
film.
around. Like I
We
think,
were, yeah,
we were there's much more interior in this film
yeah.
than exterior.
I will say, out of the cities, I do love a good London moment, i.e., again, Rye Lane, Fleabag.
Do you consider
I also,
Fleabag to be a rom-com?
not really. Second season more so than anything, because second season was a whew,
Was that a rom-com though, or was
whew.
that
Right, there was
almost
no happy ending.
sacrilegious, damn near?
Touche.
I mean,
But anybody who listens to this podcast knows I love a good British moment. Okay, whether we're
oh, well,
talking
yes, yes,
present
yes, yes,
or
yes.
past, like
Bridgerton, yes,
Bridgerton. Yeah.
of course.
But I love all the cities because I love New York. I love LA. I think about our favorite holiday movie, The Holiday,
Yeah, where
where
you
you
had
get the
best of both
most
worlds.
best of both worlds. Exactly.
I'm trying to think, it's probably LA for me. It's probably LA. I'm gonna be honest. It's probably LA.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. When I think,
Okay.
because I just think about where a lot of my favorites existed, like Pretty Woman is still one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. And that's what made Rodeo Drive a thing for me. That's what made the Beverly Wilshire Hotel a thing for me. And those are
Good
staples
point.
still when I go back and visit that city. It's like it was a part of my life in a major way, wanting to go and be there because of what I saw in those rom-coms.
But for me, I think of Something Borrowed, New York, my
Yeah.
best friend's wedding, New York.
Yeah. I just don't love
Uh,
New York as a
I
city.
I get it, I get it. And then, but for LA, the wedding planner, classic.
That was San Francisco.
San Francisco. Oh, San Francisco. I'm thinking California. But yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know. I could probably figure out all of them. I was looking at similar movies and TV shows.
But you have like Love
Stir,
and Basketball was California, was
was that
arguably probably
Compton?
LA area. I think it was somewhere in the vicinity of the LA area,
Mm-hmm.
because then they ended up going to USC.
That's true. So I was looking at movies and TV shows that I felt like were like in the same vein of this show. So we're talking self-discovery and love. So Crazy Rich Asians, navigating tradition and love. The Big Sick. This was interesting too because it's like an interracial South Asian white comedy.
Based on
Um,
the true story as
True
well.
story.
Mm-hmm.
Four Weddings and a Funeral. The
Callback.
2019.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The newer series version.
Yep.
Yep, that was a good one.
It was a good one. And then Starstruck was another one. So, yes. Do you have any final thoughts, Ashley?
I do. So I know before we talked heavily about Simone Ashley at the start. And
Yes.
again, love Simone. Definitely am looking forward to seeing more from her in her career. I want to
Mm-hmm.
say the same for Charlie, aka Hero. Talked about him a
Yes.
little bit, but at this point in his career, I've really only seen him do rom-coms. Like he did the After series, he did another film
Mm-hmm.
I saw him in, a little more dramatic because there were other elements like his father got laid off during the height of the pandemic and things like that. There was a health situation, but it was still very grounded in like romance. And
Yeah.
he is a fine. Like his uncles are Ralph and Joseph Fine.
What?
Yes.
They're actors. Okay.
Exactly.
Like,
And he
what?
played he played the young version of Voldemort. Like
I
he
was going to say he was
was
in Harry Potter. I do
he
remember that.
yep, he played
He's
Tom
a
Riddle.
fine.
He's a
I didn't
fine
know.
girl. So it's
Oh
like
my
he is a part
God.
of a acting dynasty of actors. And it's like I cannot wait to see him spread his wings and really do his thing in some roles.
Wow, that's his mom.
Yes,
But obviously
yes.
her brothers are
Yes.
working.
Yes, baby.
Okay.
Yes. And I just watched Conclave over the weekend because it is on Peacock. So
Okay.
I got to see that since I wanted to see this Oscar nominated
Yes, how was it?
turn. I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
It's about the papacy and about the process of
Hmm.
bringing in a new pope. So it
Yes.
was slow in certain capacities, but still interesting for
It
me.
was probably like that tension. Is it similar to Doubt? Like a lot of drama in that way.
Now, I can't remember all the details of Doubt, but um I think this is one you'll enjoy if you just want to learn a little bit more about what the process looks like with drama included. Like it is very
Hmm.
much about the realities of what this looks like and also about even though this is religious, the politics of it,
Politics.
right? The
Yes.
politics, the power hungriness of when a
Yeah.
position like this comes open. So anyway, I say all that to say I really am looking forward to seeing this young man spread his wings and do his
Yeah.
thing. So I just wanted to
I
throw
mean,
that out there.
especially I unfortunately with him being a young man, I'm thinking action, you know. But yeah, he could do anything. The sky's the limit.
He absolutely
He needs to
can.
get on the new season of House of Dragons.
Something,
Something.
something, something. And he may love, I mean, he's done a great job in the roles he's been in. That's no shade to rom-coms. Matthew McConaughey,
No,
that was his bread and butter for a minute.
exactly. You got to start somewhere.
But go ahead and spread those wings because yes, he is a member of a dynamic acting family. So that's all.
My final thoughts are happy her mom got her groove back. I am here for women getting love at all ages.
And go ahead
Okay.
and step on out the closet, ma'am. You ain't got to do that in the coat closet or wherever you was.
Exactly. Now it's going to be interesting, you know, just going off of what I know culturally, his mama ain't going to be happy. Uh,
She'll be calling her auntie just to be funny.
exactly. Exactly. Now that would be an interesting movie. I would love to see that.
Sequel. The sequel. We just wrote it.
Oh, my final question to you, Ashley, is have you ever gone on a blind date?
You know, I have not, and I'm not opposed to the
Okay.
idea. Now, I am a bit of a control freak in certain respects. So, would I possibly try to go ahead and find some type of imagery before I'm faced with the reality? I might. Because that's a true blind date, right? Is when you have no
Yes.
idea what this person's like. That's how my mom and my dad met, actually. They were set up on a blind
Really?
date. Yes. Yes. So,
Wow.
I'm not opposed to the idea. I just don't know if in today's age, I'm enough
It's
of a free
possible.
spirit to not try
Yeah.
to do a little research.
Yeah.
Depends, right? Who's setting me
Yeah.
up on the blind date? Do I trust them?
Yes. Correct. I've never done a blind date, but I don't know if I would like it. I think I would be open to it because I'm open to new experiences and I do love a good surprise. I can only imagine the anxiety of like the beginning of her second date. She's just at the park, like, who am I supposed to see at this park?
Exactly. Like, is this going to be like, again, going back to other rom-coms, you've got mail and I just have a
Yeah.
flower that's in a book sitting on the
Yeah.
table?
Exactly.
Because the way he played with her, don't play with me.
Exactly. All right, Ashley. That's all I got for today. What's your hidden gem?
All right. I have just one this week. Again, I've been giving Peacock so much love, but they have been delivering. So thank you, Peacock. I'm also watching Suits LA. It's just not a hidden gem at this point because I'm still iffy on if I'm about to stick with this or not. But
Yeah, not as good as the first.
it's me and my mom just had this conversation. Harvey is a hard character to replace in terms of the the charisma, Delora, that leading man energy that you need. And I just don't feel like, we're getting that right now. But I'm going to give it some time and space. We have another Black woman lead in this one, which I'm excited about.
Yay!
I want it to do well. All right. But my hidden gem is Grosse Pointe Garden Society. I told y'all I
Yay!
love a murder mystery. I love a
Yep.
whodunit. This feels that itch for me. We have Aja Naomi King in
Yep.
a starring role in this. So, she said How to Get Away with Murder was done. We got to get back into the genre.
It has more levity though, right?
I mean, it's much more like you also have, you're in like this high society amongst people who, probably don't have too many other worries and cares outside
So
of
like Desperate Housewives.
that's the sense from the Garden Society part. But then you have the main cast, which also is like Anna Sophia Robb, who was like a high school teacher, and Ben Rappaport, who is working at like a flower shop. And you have a woman named Melissa Famero, who she's the rich one in like the clique. But you have this cast of characters who are a little disparate in terms of economic status, but the actual Garden Society itself, yes, it feels bougie. It feels posh. It feels like Real Housewives a little bit in that sense, but you also just have their various dynamics. Like all of them have their backstory and are dealing with different things. You have a lot about Aja's marriage and situation going on with that. You have Anna Sophia Robb, who's concerned about her marriage as well. She's actually with Asian Bay Andrew from
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 Insecure.
Insecure. That's her hubby in the series. And then you have Ben Rappaport's character who's dealing with some family dynamics with his ex-wife and children. Like it's a lot that you're getting on like their lives as well as this whole mystery aspect of what's going on. So, I mean, I'm here for it. Like I'm invested. I want to know what's happening and why there is a dead body because that's how the series starts is there's someone's dead. We just don't know who and why. So I'm here for it, guys. 4 episodes, maybe 5 by the time this podcast comes out, are available on Peacock. Give it a watch. Let me know what you think. That's my hidden gem. What about yours, Laura?
I have one this week. It is a movie. It's Sonic the Hedgehog 3. These movies are surprisingly fun. Shout out to James Marsden and our
Mr.
girl,
Cheekbones.
yes, Tika Sumter. Even Idris Elba, the voice of Knuckles. Jim Carrey is hilarious, and we have Keanu Reeves. I love a Keanu moment. This one did not disappoint. This one, compared to the other two, had more heart to it. Um, it's kind of sad. I was like, man, I don't remember these movies being this sad
So it's
because of
like Toy
a
Story 3.
particular. Well, it's not that sad, but
Okay.
there's something that happens with one of the aliens backstory, and it's like, oh, okay.
There are
And
aliens?
well, Sonic, there's no real fast running hedgehogs
Well, I guess I
in
just
the
always thought they were considered to be like the characters from the video game. Are they considered aliens in the movie?
well, they're aliens in the loosest form in that they don't belong here. Like, you know what I
Okay.
mean? They're
And
from a different
and I'm just asking because I haven't
dimension.
seen any of them. Remember the last like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They were aliens now, and I was like,
Yeah,
since when are they
yeah,
aliens? You know,
it's
like they were
true.
mutated things, but so that's why I'm asking because I just don't know.
Yeah. And there's like another Jim Carrey character, which he always does a great job.
So
So
he played double duty.
he did. So it was entertaining. I watched it with the family, and we've watched it multiple times at this rate. It was a good time. Maybe I was in my Jane Marsden mood since we just did our Paradise recap.
Gonna maybe go back and watch Gossip. That was one of my faves back in the day,
Yes.
even though he
So,
was a baddie.
I'll take him however.
What is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 playing on? Where can people watch it?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's on Paramount.
On Paramount. All right. Thank you so much.
Paramount Plus.
Yes, sorry. Paramount Plus. Get it correct on all the streamers. I need to start doing some bundles, by the way, because I have not
Listen.
taken advantage of bundles yet. And I'm tired of all these fees.
And we get our Paramount Plus through our Amazon. So,
Add
yeah.
on subscription.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is it for us this episode. We will hop on out of here. Please share this episode with everybody you know. We appreciate it. Again, feel free to give us some comments, leave ratings, leave reviews, all the things. We also have our episodes on YouTube if you want to catch us there. Leave some comments via Spotify. We'd appreciate it. Or just hit us up on the internets on Instagram. We will be
Yes.
back with more pop culture stuff going on in these streets on Thursday. But until then, as always, be blessed.
Bye.